So that was interesting. System did a whole ass crash, reset, said, I'm on break, deal with it. So, welcome back to part 2 of that. That's very, very interesting. There's always something. So anyway, like I was saying, it with the previous episode, or the previous part 1, if you will, the whole thing is not more profitability, where it's just too many, it's too much money to be involved to just develop. Like I said, my generation, national championships and all that stuff, it meant something. It meant a lot. It was bragging rights, not just for the college, not just for the coaches, not just for the players, but it was bragging rights for the fans, right? Tradition, all that fun stuff. The Pac-12, Pacific 12, is being dismantled. This is going to be the last year because the Big 10, the Big 12, these Midwest and Southern conferences where football is a religion is, quite frankly, it's a moneymaker. And in the defense, man, listen, a 7:30 p.m. game in California, that's 10:30 on the East Coast, and that's where most of the writers and sports people tend to be, and a lot of fan bases. So, 7:30 on a Sunday night, that's 10:30. People got to work on Monday, so the ratings aren't there. But if you have a college game at 7:30 in the Midwest, well, hell, that's 8:30 for the most part on the East Coast. So it's an early enough game for people to be able to cop and watch, and get some stir. Now, when USC, like in the early 2000s, for example, people stayed up to watch it, and I understand that. If you're good, any interest, right? Here, people love to watch was USC and Oregon at one point, right? So, I think, feel, and believe, man. The one and done is just not a good. It is. It's definitely. I feel a lot of players aren't getting developed, and it's making the coaches look like they're better coaches than what they are. My opinion. That's just my opinion on how I feel about that. Last thing I want to talk about is on the dating aspect, right? So let's say, for example, someone invites you to go out to eat, invites you to go get something to drink, invites you to a movie. And I put this post on social media as well, at the E.I.T.H.R on Instagram and at the E.I.T.H.R on Twitter. If I invite you to eat or invite you to go out, is it my responsibility to pay the whole way? Right? If you are invited to go someplace, to eat, to drink, to whatever, are you paying for any of it? What's the deal? This was something I put on social media, and there's a rule where if you invite me, you're paying, because you invited me to the shindig. You invited me to this gathering, right? So it's up to you to cover it. Now, I know there's going to be certain situations and instances where you invite me, we'll go Dutch, or you invite me, I pay my own way. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on that? I think if people are really saying, well, if I get invited, I'm not paying because you invited me, there's reason why a lot of motherfuckers probably don't ask anyone to go out anymore because of that rule, right? I'm like this. It's case by case. I know that's a cheap ass answer, but it is It is case by case. Now, there has to be an understanding, which Lord knows there's not going to be one. But I feel if you ask someone out on a date, the natural thing is to go ahead and sport it. Put the bill, take care of that. You got that. The bad thing about that, in my opinion, is a lot of people get free meals. And the people who are paying recognize that and understand how much that is a bad look, right? Because you feel as if you're being used for this. In essence, you are, which makes a person feel, well, I'm not taking anybody out because you're just you're allowing me to take you out so you can get free food and drink and then leave home and block me. The shit sounds funny when you're reading it on a meme, but it's not funny when you're reading it on your friend's timeline. Because it makes you think, like, damn, I don't want to go through that. Fuck that. You better eat before I get there. Right? So, I think, and this is just me, take you out someplace. The proper thing to do is at least make the gesture you're going to pay. At least reach for your clutch or act. Do that, right? That alone will most likely make someone feel she's making the effort. He's making the effort. You know what? Just the effort alone, I got you, boo. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, right? But I think it honestly just depends, because you might get someone who sees you reaching for your card and your clutch and be like, oh shit, cool. You got it. Now, my friend Psalm, she's, I'll pay for it. I'll pay my own meal. Don't worry about me. I ordered it. I ate it. I'll pay for it. Right. But there's also one of those scenarios too where you pay for this one, you get the next. Oh, you pay for this one? I'll get the next. I think it kind of just depends how strong the relationship is, how new the relationship is. That's crucial. That plays a part in it too, right? It kind of depends on the vibe. But I can tell you right now, most guys don't want the feeling of being used for a free meal. And I know there's people out there who's like, so? Shit. Because girls are players too. I get that. But I'm the kind of person, I'll put it this way. Me, if I take you out because I want to take you out, I want to go ahead and sport this, and handle this and got this, treat you. This is my treat. I'm inviting you. This is my treat. That's cool. I think what happens is there's an expectation from some people that you're supposed to pay. And I think when it comes down to the grand scheme of things, when you expect me to do it, that's when I ain't. Because you came in with the mindset, oh, he's going to pay. I would take my ass up and go to the bathroom and never come back. I'm that guy. Because my kindness is not a weakness. My kindness is a gesture of interest. It's a gesture of respect. It's a gesture of, hey, I got you. Right? But when there's an expectation of it being done, there's that one meme, I'm sure people have seen this, where clearly somebody's on a date and there's a bunch of food sitting in front of this woman and she has her phone and she's on her phone, and the meme is like, I'm about to get up to go to the bathroom, leave her with the bill, and whoever the hell she's on the phone with, they can come pay for this meal. I'm like, that's true. Now again, granted, photos, you can take out of context, so on and so forth. But in the scheme of the topic, there's nothing wrong with you making the gesture to pay. Now, my homegirl Psalm also made this very valid point. Fellas, if a woman wants to pay her way, it's not a shot at your masculinity. It's not a shot to your ego, so don't make it one. Right? Everything is perception. And I've said this quote, and Psalm loves this quote. Your perception, their intention, doesn't always align. Right? You have to understand that. Your intention and their perception does not always align. That's kind of where communication comes in. That's when people have to learn how to understand, okay, with decal, it means this. With such and such, it means that. And when people sit back and say, that's too much thinking, I'm not into it, think of it this way. In Spanish, auto means car, right? But that's in Mexico. And I have to double check, but if you say auto in like Argentina, it has a completely different meaning. Now, even though it's both quote unquote Spanish, words mean something different based on your area. Now, depending on how the conversation is going, they can understand, okay, this is what he's talking about. Oh, okay. So it even here in America, like when you have certain dishes and certain names for food or certain names for fill in the blank. On the West Coast, it means one thing. In the Midwest, it might mean the same, but in the South, it means something completely different, right? Or I remember when I was doing network marketing for this fragrance business, right? We use the term GUMP. And what GUMP stood for was guy or girl under my power. So we will all get juiced when we saw, like, I guess you can say an easy sale. Some will call it a mark. Some will call it a target. Some call it a John, depending on your profession. We were like, that's my GUMP. That's my guy. That's my girl. That's my customer. They're going to get a bottle. They're going to get 2 bottles. They're going to buy 3 bottles. They're going to get this whole bag. You kind of just, you saw the person and were just like, oh, I know they're going to get, it was a judgment, yes, but it was a judgment in a good way to where you knew, I'm about to get on the board. I'm about to make this sale. I'm about to hit this number. I'm about to do this, that, and the third. So here, a GUMP meant a customer who you knew was going to purchase. I want to say in Baltimore, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never been to Bmore, but from what I've heard, GUMP is an insult. You call someone a GUMP or say they're a GUMP, that was or is fighting words. So, certain things mean something different depending on where you're from or how you handle it. So if somebody if the person invited pulls out their checkbook, pull out their credit card, pulls out cash, depending on the perception of that might not match the intent, right? And I think, in my opinion, man, when it comes to that kind of shit, people should just explain, no, this is why I'm doing this, or this is the reason why I did that, and reassure or reaffirm. That way everyone's on the same damn page, right? And I was talking to Sam about this. I think me and my homegirl Marissa had a conversation about this too, bro. Like, why do so many people to this day still lie about shit? Like, just be upfront, be honest, right? Just be dead ass honest. Just tell it what it is. And I think because we are afraid that if we say the truth, we're not going to get what it is we're looking for. So we're going to tell you what we want to hear. The issue with that is the person that you're talking to, they know you bullshitting. Or they strongly believe you are. Right? Here's my thing. If I have to tell you what you want to hear in order to get what I want, I ain't rocking with you, yo. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, granted, Sometimes the truth and what you want to hear might be the same thing. But my theory is this. I'd rather tell you what it is, whether you like it or not, because at least you know whatever comes out of my mouth is the truth. He's being honest. I didn't like what he said, but he wasn't lying. I can at least respect that, right? When you are telling people what they want to hear, the truth escapes you and you don't know how to tell it. So then you get caught up in these lies where now you have to tell the truth, and it does more damage than good, my opinion. So when it comes to inviting, and you pull it out, put your wallet, your money, your cash, your card, or whatever, I'm not going to be insulted by that. I'm going to take it as, oh man, cool. Listen, if you pull out your card and I don't say something like, okay, no, don't worry about it. I got this. If I don't say that shit, expect to pay your half. Right? But then again, it all depends on the vibe, because me and Marissa, we went to the Punchline and we saw Corey Holcomb, right? And it was my treat. But she took care of the tickets and I was going to get the food. But she spot the whole thing. Now, there wasn't anything after that. That's my people's. That's my people's, right? So I didn't take that as a shot to my manhood. I didn't take that as an insult. She damn sure didn't take this as being abused or used or me getting over on her, because we have that kind of relationship, right? I think in today's world, more people do not know how to communicate effectively or directly. So everybody's pussyfooting around and coming up with their own conclusions within themselves about what people think. So back to the question at hand. If you are invited, does the person who invites pay? In most cases, yes. But it is case by case. It kind of depends on the scenario. It kind of depends on the situation. It also kind of depends on the people. Right? But again, fellas, pulls out her wallet to pay. That does not mean that's a sign she is not interested. It's just a sign that she doesn't want you to have the impression that she's freeloading. So she wants to cover her own bill. And I'm telling you right now, if a woman a green flag, because at least she's aware of you being used or having the feeling of being used. Now, with that said, you're going to have some bastard out there who's going to do that gesture to manipulate. Listen, you're going to get a few back. I'll get the next. I got this one. Okay, I'll get the next. It all kind of depends on the people, just to kind of bring it back full circle. It just depends on the circumstances. It depends on the relationship. Who pays for what? Kindness for weakness. Don't take advantage of anybody doing a good gesture. But it goes to the second topic too. Or just living for today. Or worry about to give it. And the people who are just like that too. So just do me a favor. Whenever you go on a date with somebody, keep in mind how that person is, how that person responds, how that person treated you, and don't take it out on, because they ain't had shit to do with that. They weren't even there. Matter of fact, they probably didn't even meet you yet. So just keep that in mind, y'all. Simple. So get ready to wrap this episode up. But I am in a very good mood, as we talked about before. GNS Studios is not open, but we got it. So that was the last thing we talked about on the episode 131 2 weeks ago, and putting up the sound panels myself, and it's I like it. I pretty much like it. And today, I'm an Android guy, Team Android all day. iPhone can kiss dirty ass. That's just me, right? But today, it's like I'm cheating on my football team, man. Like today I went and got I got my Mac Pro. Got me a Mac Pro today. And I mean, it's cute. It's cute. You know, it's a step kid. It's kind of like, look, I don't like you, motherfucker, but you know, me and your mama trying to make something happen, so you know, you cool right now. That's how I feel about my Mac Pro right now, right? Because I have my Chromebook, and so with a happy family over, so you know, so, but I'm happy. It's a nice little toy. It's going to allow me to do a few more things when it comes to the music aspect of instruments. And so the boys already looking at mixes and looking at what was the other thing I was looking at yesterday? Keyboards. So you know, we trying to be outside. We're trying to be outside. But yeah, so I was over at GNS Studios this AM and went and got the laptop, and I was like, you know what? I didn't get a chance to do the podcast last night. Talking with the teacher, and there was some things going down over here that I really didn't want to get picked up on the microphone. Nothing to do with me, just there was some hostile environment going on, and I didn't want any record of that with my audience, because I love y'all. Love you like a play cousin that I never met. So that's what that is. But it's going to get to the point now with GNS Studios, at least, you know, when it comes to the modeling and when it comes to the movie making, your boy's that much closer to having my own set to do things with. So, in my Borat voice, I'm very excited. And for the GNS HQ here with the E.I.T.H.R podcast, the office space, getting some new furniture in here too. And I think I've already mentioned it. Your boy's working on getting a pool table in here. So when I'm doing podcasts and have guests, I can bust their ass on the pool table while we're doing an interview. So, looking at getting an arcade game too. I got happy. I saw Street Fighter. I saw Mortal Kombat. I saw Ninja Turtles. Look, if you're old enough to remember this game, Gauntlet. Remember Gauntlet? That was my shit. That was my game. Where you had Warrior, Valkyrie, Elf, and the Wizard. Yo, that was my game. Like, I know some of y'all are going to probably Google or YouTube it to see what it is, but you had to have been there. You had to be there. Compared to now, the graphics are shitty. It's horrible. But growing up, that game was it. There was between that, Mario Brothers, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Those 4 games were like it at the boys club out there in West Oakland on Market Street. Like that. Man, loved it over there growing up. So that was fun, man. But so yeah, we got that over there, and going to be working on getting the speakers for the studio and a whole new set for the microphone. I'm going to develop a little section area for the booth. Who knows? Your boy actually might spit some bars over there. And for Gia, who really wants her singing career to take off, trying to get GNS Studios together so GNS Entertainment can, you know, be a nice little poor man's version of No Limit Records. That's the goal that I want. So I'm trying to get everything together, man. So people, when y'all have a talent, you can come over here and share it, and we can put it on the TV screen and kind of just do everything in-house without any corporate America getting involved with it. Because I respect their hustle. I just don't respect their morals. That's me though. So And then once I get that stuff taken care of, the next step for your boy is to make the next move for G&S Publishing. Because I've already looked into it. I got my notes for it. It's just on the back burner right now because I'm trying to focus on the entertainment in the studio. But once that's up and running, then G&S Publishing is going to be the next step. So that way I can actually start making some traction on publishing my very first book. So that's going to be next. So, and if everything goes well, which I'm hoping it will, end of the month, we're going to be able to release our very first high heel shoe for the ladies, or high heel shoe for anybody who wears high heel shoes. I'll put it that way. So that's what's next on the agenda. So anyway, that's it, man. We're about to go ahead and hit these streets and try to make the world a better place than it was before I woke up. So it's your boy D-Cal for the E.I.T.H.R podcast, man. Like I said in the beginning, for the inspirational, motivational, you is the only thing stopping you from pursuing what it is that you want to achieve. It's you, nobody else, right? And I was telling Gia this, I want to say last week, and her sidekick Gina this last week, is you want to get yourself a supporting cast, whether it's an accountability partner or just a support circle of people, to help you stay focused on the path of what it is you want. Listen, man, two types of people you are going to have in your life. It's those with a common past and those with a common future. Choose wisely. Because if you kick it with the people with a common past, that's where you'll stay. And if you choose to hang with people with a common future, that's where you'll go. So it's highly important, man, that you do that. And you gotta stay focused. The great Denzel Washington, and I found out it's Denzel, not Denzel. It's Denzel. That's how he says it's pronounced. Mama named him Denzel, I'm gonna call him Denzel. So Mr. Washington says, the key to success is discipline and consistency. The great Mike Tyson once said, discipline is doing the things that you absolutely hate, but you do it like you love it. So even though you might not, and listen, I'm talking to myself while I'm talking to y'all. Even though you may not want to do it, knock it out. Because at the end, when you finish, you're going to look back and say, glad I did that. I'm glad I knocked that out. I'm glad I did that. Right? Because success is never always going to be how you feel that day. If you are waiting to do something because you want to feel like it, shit would never get done on a regular basis by people. So we have to be disciplined enough. And that's where it's so critical and crucial for you to have a supporting cast with an accountability partner or three with the common future of where you want to go. And you guys talk that shit into existence with one another. That was one thing I learned in the fragrance business. We all had a common future. And no matter whose car we were in, what territory we were going to sell, somebody was always talking about getting on their next badge or finally reaching a milestone or getting their own location so they can open up their own business. That's what we talked about. We spoke it into existence, man. We spoke that energy. I think more people need people around them who think like that in order to do it. And it doesn't have to be business. It can just be about something positive and encouraging. If you want somebody to talk about your favorite books, your favorite type of movie, fashion, whatever it is. It seems like a lot of people are doing that, but they're doing it for different reasons. Like everyone has that accountability partner or that friend or that group that want to trash talk or bash or slick talk somebody. You can clown and critique somebody together, but you can't come up with a plan to achieve your goals together. And that's why a lot of people will never get past a Facebook shit talking post, because that's where they live. And that's cool. Not knocking it. It sounds like I'm knocking it. Not knocking it. Just don't knock my hustle, and I won't knock yours. But if you guys, man, just get out of your own way, man. One step at a time. I don't care what it is. One step at a time. If the house or department is dirty, okay, you ain't got to clean the whole house in the next 10 minutes. In the kitchen, you know what? Knock out the dishes real quick. Just the dishes. Don't worry about nothing else. Just the dishes. Knock that out. Focus on that. Cool. Dishes are done. Beautiful. Okay? Check it off. And I can almost guarantee you, once you do something like knock out the dishes, you're now going to move on to the countertop. I can almost guarantee you, countertop's going to lead to sweeping and mopping the floor. That's going to lead to reorganizing the refrigerator or the freezer. That's going to lead to tossing out old expired shit. That's going to lead to something else. But one step at a time. And I'm telling you, you can go to YouTube and damn near find anything, bro. Why don't you go on YouTube and search for how to get motivated to clean the house? Right? Do that. You know, something. Or how to get motivated to talk to people. Whatever it is that you want to get better at, start doing something. Because if you would have started it last year, you would be thankful today. So you might as well start today and imagine where you'll be at next year. Right? So that's all I got to say, man. Listen, thank you again for listening to the podcast. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you. Instagram, Twitter, the E.I.T.H.R, E.I.TH.R, GNSETV.com. Go ahead, free subscription. Sign up with your boy Decal. We'll be back next time with episode 133. All right, and we out.